Hey guys, so just coming at you with the video about how to live with purpose and what's it all about. How do you find it? How did I find it? What was the sort of process or journey that I went through? So I'm still on track with finding it. I think, the more you chase it, the more it evolves and the more you're, obviously constantly learning and growing. And before I started that, I never understood that there was a process attached to it. I just was always focused on end results. I think that's what a lot of people and a lot of, or almost most people who haven't done personal development focus on, right? So we always focus on that end result that we don't understand how to get there. So we don't understand that there's, a gap we need to bridge. And how do we break that down? So now I've got a few principles and, I'm going to go through 5 right now that I believe were sort of key and the most crucial for me really being able to work it out thus far, right? I'm not there yet, constantly striving to get better and better, but, I like to look at it as, I'm 26 and, it doesn't matter what age you are, but the sooner you start, you look at it like compound interest in a bank. If you're chasing it now, imagine where you're going to be in 5 years' time plus that compound, right? That's why I see it rather than being like, oh, I'll figure it out once I know the end result. The end result is, I believe, always unknown. So I think the most crucial is you've got to live by your values and your beliefs. And if you were saying this to me 4 years ago, I would ask you the question, how do you figure that out? And you're probably asking the same question. And the thing is, you've just got to start, right? And by start, I mean, for me, I started reading a book, and the first book I ever read or fully read was The 4 Agreements, which was so bland and boring and dry, but it gave me so much. And that was really when I first was like, hey, if I can complete a book and I, took just one thing from it, what else can I pursue, right? And it was at that point in time that as I started, learning and growing and chatting to more people and seeing what they were doing, asking them questions, I was developing my own self in that process. Does that make sense? So what I really, intended on doing was, for me, was just financial freedom, right? But through that whole process, it reconnected with me with my passion in health and fitness. And at the time, I was still like, I don't want to be a personal trainer, I'm going to hate that. So what's it going to be? So I stayed away from that industry, haven't gotten back into it. But I was just more so like, right, well, if it's in that space, what can it be? So that's when I obviously pursued more. I started reading more, talking to more people, seeing other careers, online stuff, all this sort of stuff. And obviously through every conversation, you're learning. And I started paying for mentors to, around life coaching and all that sort of stuff to really explain to me what values and what beliefs are. And what it comes down to is like, a lot of the time we adopt beliefs throughout the schooling system, what we should be doing, or from our parents and families and friends. But it's like, find people who are doing or living the life that you want to live, or providing contribution in the way that you want to provide it, or you feel aligns with you, and go make friends with them and hang out with them and see what they do. Because through that process, you're going to cut or shave years off your journey, because you're going to fast track it and learn from their mistakes. But you're also going to be like, I love what they do here, I don't like that. So I'm going to take that and put that in my tool belt and leave that. That's not for me. And as you start collecting these items, you're going to find more and more what you value. It's going to get pinpointed. And I know, at 26, by the time I'm 36 or 46, my values are going to be even more pinpointed. I know what's really valuable to me. So as a result of that, you're not wasting time on shit that doesn't matter to you, right? It may be shit that matters to everyone else, but it doesn't matter to you, right? So for me, I don't watch the news, I don't read newspapers because I don't care. Like, as naive as that sounds, that's just, I don't want to fill my mind with stuff that I can't directly impact people with, or isn't impacting my life, okay? So go about finding your values and beliefs, and we can do a completely different video on this, and if you want, comment below and I'll do that. Second is setting priorities. So obviously when you're needing to learn and grow and do all these sort of things to figure out what you value and what you believe in, you're going to have to start making sacrifices from your current lifestyle, right? And if you're working or you're partying or whatever it is, you've got to be like, all right, well, what am I willing to cut out now so I can focus on it? It might be reading, or it might be getting out of your comfort zone and changing your circle of influence or your friendship group, or, there's so many things you can do. For me personally, my experience was I stopped watching rugby, which I loved, or sport, for a whole 18 months. and I would just sit in my office, read, learn, jump on the phone, jump on webinars, do whatever I could, right? You don't have to pay for that, guys. There's free stuff out there, podcasts, anything. And I didn't like everything that I listened to or learned to, but it's not about that. It's not the result. It's just the process of going through until you pick up stuff that you enjoy learning. And once again, you're going to pinpoint that. So set priorities around, stuff that you start valuing. If you feel like you value it, make it a priority and do more of it. Just makes sense, right? Why would you prioritize stuff that you don't give a shit about? It just doesn't make sense, but we do it, and I'm guilty of it. I still do it to this day, but I'm trying to get better and better. Thirdly is follow your passion. Right, I knew from a young age that it was always going to be in the health and wellness or fitness space. I just didn't know what it was, and I stopped pursuing it because I thought I had to get a real job. I didn't think personal training for me was going to be a sustainable career, so I got into the trade and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm trying to get across there is follow your passion. If you're passionate about something, follow that direction. You might not end up in that space in 10 years' time, but follow it, pursue it, see what you can get out of it. And I don't just mean, when I say follow your passion, people say, what job am I passionate about? No, take the boundary of the box of the traditional box business jobs and start thinking about, what am I passionate about? I love being outdoors, traveling, surfing, all this sort of stuff is in the health and wellness space. So it's like, well, how can I create something that's going to allow me to do that daily? Not find a job that, like a surf instructor or something where I'm stuck somewhere. How can I create something that allows me to do that on a daily basis, right? So that's what I want you guys to think about. And once again, if you have any questions, comment below or send me a message on Instagram. Thirdly is achieve balance. So when I first started pursuing this, I sacrificed so much to get there because I was just so hungry for it. I wanted change. I wanted to figure out, where I could be. And the more I delved into it, the more excited I got because it was my values and my beliefs, right? But I also sacrificed so much that it became all about work and all about pursuing better, right? I wasn't surfing. I wasn't doing any of the stuff that I actually still really enjoyed doing. I was just reading, learning, attending seminars, right? Which is awesome. But from my own experience, I would suggest, find that balance, right? So you're still doing the things that you love, and you're also pursuing better. Does that make sense? So achieving balance is number 4. 5 is make a difference. You got to feel like you're making a difference. You got to fill that cup up and feel like you're having an impact. Especially millennials and Gen Ys, we're all about contribution and stuff like that. So don't just when I first started, once again pursuing this 4 years ago, it was all about the money because I had no awareness around anything like that. But the more I got to interact with people and made money and did this and did that, I realized that money is not the main thing, right? It's the energy that allows me to have that whole thing, and it may allow you guys to do what you want. And obviously the more money you earn, the more value you're adding to people, which means you're doing a great job. But I was in Vanuatu last week, and just being able to disconnect and climb trees and hang out with happy people who don't necessarily have a lot of materialistic possessions, but they have so much more than many people here in Brisbane, where I'm based, right? So if you can find something that really lights you up and feels like you're making a difference, they're my 5 things that I believe that you should start focusing on to start finding or living with passion or purpose, right? If you can just start working on them one at a time even, and for me, it was natural progression. I never had a list of 5 when I started. I just knew I wanted to make money. And what happened with that, I knew I needed to become a better person to make more money. What happened when I started becoming a better person, I started becoming more aware of what's really out there and how I could impact people. And, and then the more people you impacted, the more stuff that's going on. So I was like, right, I need to prioritize what is important to me and what's not going to consume all of my time, so I can find that balance. Right? And I don't want to always be just giving in a way that doesn't feel like I'm making a difference. Does that make sense? So that's for me, how I depict what, living with purpose is. So I hope you guys get a lot of value from that. Leave some feedback. If you have any other questions, comment below on the YouTube channel, or you can find me on Instagram at Lachlan Stewart. Obviously the same name. Look forward to chatting, and hopefully this has been super beneficial for you guys. Even just recapping it for me has been awesome. Cheers.